Hi guys, back to conversations with Better Photography, and this is K. Madhavan Pillai. I'm the chief editor of Better Photography. Are people able to hear me clearly? Am I audible? Uh, if I'm audible, please. So we are here today. We are about to have a conversation with Amar Ramesh of Studio A. Amar Ramesh is a young photographer, extremely successful, one of the top photographers in the country, in fact. Well, based out of Chennai, but he has been photographing around the world. We are just going to wait for a bit for Amar Ramesh to actually get on the scene. And there we are. We are just about to be joined with Amar Ramesh. We're just waiting for him to join us. So give us a couple of seconds for that. While Amar Ramesh is just about to join us, a couple of announcements. We have with us almost every evening we are having a very special guest with us in Conversations with Better Photography. Today it is Amar Ramesh. We are waiting for him to join us. Tomorrow it is Rasika Ramaswamy. So stay tuned and keep watching our Instagram page for all the announcements regarding who's going to be joining us. On the 9th of May, we also have Prakash Talokani who's going to be joining us.
There we are. Hi, Amar. How are you?
Hi. Sorry, I sent the request multiple times and I think there is some problem. There's some issue lately with the live in Instagram where initially you'll get this 2-3 times the request gets pushed out. So yeah, thanks man. Thanks for inviting me. I'm doing great.
Thank you for being a guest on Better Photography in conversation with. And
My pleasure.
we've been following your Instagram page for quite a while, and we're all big fans of your work. And of course, Studio A has been doing some exceptionally wonderful weddings. So thank you for being with us, and I'm sure that all the participants and all the guests and all the viewers who are with us this evening is going to be in for a good time with all the questions that I have, and I'm really looking forward to some of the answers that you have.
Hey, thank you so much. Thank you so much for better photography. And see, when I initially came into photography like 10 years ago, when I moved back to India, this is the magazine I was, looking forward for. And also, you guys have survived the tough times and all that, and then been here for so many years and doing so many amazing things. So thanks for that, and thanks for helping the community.
Thank you. In fact, this coming June, we are going to be completing our 23rd, moving into our 24th year in print, and
Wow.
we've never missed a single issue ever.
That's
You know,
crazy, man.
and
I know it. I know how tough it is to do that. See, consistency is one of the biggest, strengths that so many people lack these days. So hats off to that.
Thank you. This issue, which is basically the April issue, and the next issue, which will be the May issue, is coming out completely free because of the COVID-19 situation. There are a lot of photographers who basically are just sitting at home, and in many cases, professionals are not able to really ply their trade. So for them, we want to keep them informed. We want them to have something to learn from, something to read. So the next issue of Better Photography is completely free, available at betterphotography.in. So all you have to do is just put in your email ID, log in, and just simply download the copy of the magazine. It's completely free.
Awesome.
So Amar, so my first question to you, and the question that I think everybody also wants to know, is during this time of this lockdown, What are you up to? I mean, what are you doing? Are you at home? Are you locked down too? So what's happening?
Where else can one be, man? Where else can one be? Is there an option? Yeah, I'm at home. But see, yeah, it's a sad thing that the entire world is going through this, and we're all going through this. I don't know. I don't even know what the economic impact of this is going to be in the coming days. But see, on another level, right? It's like universe is coming and telling us, hey, why are you running so fast? Take a break, take a pause. It's like you guys are all in a train that's going so fast, and and in fact you are not driving the train. So many other things are driving the train, like your fear, your greed, your other things are running the train, right? And do you know where you're going? I think only your fears and only your greed and other things knows where the train is going. You don't know where it's going. So we're all running towards that, and I feel the universe said, "Hey, take a pause, take a break, assess what you're doing, see what you're up to, you know." And in personally for me, yes, it is tough times and all that, but personally for me, it has been a great time. There are a lot of things that I've picked up in this time, right? I'm doing a 45-day yoga challenge. I'm doing everyday yoga without missing an hour. And yoga is something that I wanted to do for years now, and never got to do it. And the fact that I've done continuous 32 days of yoga and I have 15 more days to go is just mind blowing. I
That's
was a guy who
fantastic.
never sat in a yoga session for more than an hour. So now there is no other go. I have to do it, right? So I picked up that, and I'm really glad that I'm doing it. And if there is something that I learned from this entire lockdown is, everybody should get into yoga. It's just another. It's another level. It's like a poetry for your body. So that is one thing I'm enjoying. And from my childhood, I wanted to pick up some music lessons. So I'm learning the keyboard, which again I had no time or no space when I was running behind things. So I picked up that, and I'm asking every day myself, how can I make myself better, right? And I'm trying so many things. I did some live sessions which are really really popular, and so I'm doing several things. uh, One is towards my profession, towards myself, my health, and asking myself, how can I be better uh, every day, right? How can I better myself every day compared to yesterday? So it's been
That's
great.
wonderful.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. So it really is a time for us to introspect, reflect, to make changes
Yeah.
to ourselves. For me, on a personal level, the biggest achievement that I've had is I completely quit smoking. So I've been
Awesome.
I was a smoker for a very long time. I completely quit, and it's been I'm not even counting the days now, but I don't have the urge, and I think it's been
Great.
over a month ever since the
Great.
lockdown started actually.
Great.
So that's a big change in my life, and I'm thoroughly enjoying the light. These days, the light has changed. I think it's so clear and so beautiful now. I think
Very true.
I've been looking at the lights these days. Um, so coming to my second question to you, so initially you were geared to be all geared for a corporate career, and from there to wedding photography. And I've noticed on your website that you were even dabbling with certain kinds of documentary filmmaking, and made a few documentaries as well. So how did this shift happen? I mean, how did this calling come to be?
Um, so initially, it was not calling and all, Madan. So initially, see, I grew up wanting to be an engineer. I always was fascinated about engineering, and I was very good at math, and that is what I knew. Like I knew only there's two things people do. Either they go become a doctor or they go become an engineer, right? So I always grew up wanting to be a computer engineer, and that is what I did. Um, I did my engineering in Chennai, and then moved to US to do my masters. I finished my masters in computer science and then started working in US for 6 years. And then while I was working, my first job was a traveling job. Every Monday morning, I would travel, come back on a Friday evening. Monday morning travel, Friday evening. So then I decided, why am I coming back? I'm single. I don't have anything else to do. So let me explore places. And then for exploring, I wanted a camera. So I picked up. That's how I picked up my camera. So long story short, um, it was I didn't handle this as a calling. I was in a very comfortable job. I was paid lots and lots of money, but deep down inside I was missing some excitement in my life. My I was constantly like thinking, hey, my life could be more exciting. I don't think this is what I want to do. So I told myself, okay, I'm gonna take a year off and try things in photography because I'm good at that. So if it works out, let me do it, and that's how I started, and it clicked. And later, when I constantly kept doing more and more and more and more, I realized, oh my God, this is what I was born to do. There is nothing else I should have been doing. I wish I had known this from a very young age, but it's okay. At least I found it. Um, Better late than never, right? So I found it, and
I think you
I
found
said,
it.
okay.
I think you found it at a very young age. I think you found it at a very young age now.
so 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 yeah. So later, I definitely felt it was a calling. I still feel it, and I every time I take pictures of things, there are so many things that happen that tells me constantly again and again that you are born to be a photographer, right? And also I also believe there is not only single calling in your life. There are multiple callings. There are multiple purpose in your life. So similarly, like I found passion in running a business. That's how my studio was born. I found passion in building a team, a successful and happy team. So that's how my team was born. So yeah, later it became a call.
So photography was photography a part of your life during your student days as well, or did it happen during that break?
It was the farthest thing in my life. It was the farthest thing in my life. In fact, I don't even have pictures of my childhood. I have very few pictures of my childhood. My family did not own a camera. We were never in the proximity of cameras and photography and all that. The first time I'm touching my camera is 2007. Mm, I just
Okay.
bought a digital camera and then started shooting in it, and then fell in love with it. It's it's a mixture of science and art. Uh, it is numbers, aperture, shutter speed, and all that numbers. It's physics, and I love mathematics, so it's all numbers, and also it's an art where when you do it, people see it and enjoy it, relish it. So it was a perfect combination. So I fell in love with it.
So since we have a comments on, there's a very interesting comment that just came through. I just would like to read it. It says, while I was depressed, I talked to you on Instagram, Anna, and I I was changed by your words. Now my photo is reviewed on KLR Photo Guru channel, and that picture I took with my smartphone. Thank you. You are my inspiration. So there's a this is by Vellavan Rahul.
Rahul. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, uh, and he has basically sent this message while we were talking about this. So
Okay.
tell us a little bit about your very first photography assignment. So on your website you mentioned that this happened on in 2011. Just tell us a little bit more about how it came to be. What were some of your significant learnings? What happened to that assignment? Because usually the first assignment is also the most, challenging, exciting. It just changes you somehow. So tell us more about it.
Oh, there's so many learnings from my first assignment. Okay, this is going to be a long story, but I come back from US. But even before coming back, I dabbled in photography, like professional photography, for a couple of years. So I was assisting somebody as a second shooter in weddings there. So I've shot like 30 weddings there, but none of them were Indian weddings. Everything was Western, like it was Indonesian wedding, Chinese wedding, Jewish wedding, all types of weddings, right? And when I came back and when I decided I want to move back to India and start up photography, I wanted to be a travel photography for sure. I wanted to be a photographer who captures all the temples. I wanted to do that as my prime thing. So as soon as I came back, I started traveling around shooting temples. That is another story. But um, so in my mind, I didn't want to be a wedding photographer for two reasons. One is I always felt Indian weddings are very chaotic. There's a lot of people. There's chaos, so there's no order. I cannot make
Of course.
justice. And second thing is, um, um, this is in 2010. I'm talking about. People saw wedding photographers differently, right? It was not seen it was seen as a vocation, not like a job, not like a art thing. So I was very hesitant. I said I will
Right.
not be shooting weddings, but yet maybe one or two weddings, right? Then I came here, 5 months happened. I traveled across Tamil Nadu shooting all the temples and all that. And then I was burning my cash, burning my savings, right? So parallelly, a bride, the first bride in India, she called and said, "I've seen your work in US because she was in the same area as me in US. Mm, so I've seen your work, so I want you to come shoot the wedding, right?" So and then I quoted a price, and she agreed for it. But something interesting happened there. And if this did not happen, I wouldn't have been a wedding photographer now, right? So because she paid a premium price for me, I quoted a premium price, and she paid a premium price for me. She said, "I'm not going to spend anything on top of this. So you have to stay in my house, and you have to travel in the train. Okay, I can't give you accommodation, a hotel or anything." Right? So I stayed in her house, right? And I was a brother for those 5 6 days. I was their family son. I was sitting in the dining table, eating with them, talking about their financial things, talking about the family, talking about their in-laws, and I was there, right? And then I'm sitting in that dining table. I'm thinking, what is this, man? What is happening here? This is amazing. They've just they've just adopted me for these 5 days, right?
Amazing.
And
Amazing.
and I went and shot that wedding like a brother would see a wedding, right? And and like I said, and after that I said, screw temples. I'm not going to do any temples. Temple photography. This is what I want to do for life, and that's how I became a wedding photographer.
I completely agree with you there, Amar, because I have had similar experiences too. But of course, with street photography, I have been invited into homes. I have been fed lunches and dinners.
Yeah.
And I think there is something about photography, and people want us to really connect.
Oh, it's
It
amazing.
happens. It actually happens. As a street photographer, I made so many friends on the streets. Just a conversation here, a picture there. You show them the picture, and somehow they are so happy that a picture has been made. In fact, I make it a point to, as far as possible, as far as I can, make a print and give it to them, because
Mm,
I realize that many people on the streets, they don't have a single photo of themselves.
yeah.
So they are very grateful, very thrilled. Of course, it's a wonderful connection that happens with photography,
Yeah,
and
very
I
true.
think a lot of wedding photographers enjoy this too.
Yeah, yeah. Very, very true. And especially if you are out of this metros, if you're out of these big cities and go into towns and smaller villages, you're seen as a celebrity. You're like treated so well with the camera when you're with the camera. So yeah, I enjoy that.
So you not only shoot, middle class weddings. You also shoot some very affluent weddings, and so you moved from middle class weddings, affluent weddings. So tell us something about the kind of customers or the kind of clients who come to you.
So see, honestly, I really don't research about my clients when they come to me. I have a price. Whoever pays me, I shoot. It can be a very affluent, super, rich, or just an ordinary middle class people. I don't research what family they belong to or where are they coming from and all that. Whoever pays the price, I do it. In fact, the USP of me is whatever the wedding is, wherever it is, I will show it so beautifully, right? You don't worry about the decor, you don't worry about anything. I will make sure your pictures are amazing, right? That's the USP. That's why you're hiring me for it, right? And so I'm never thinking, okay, am I shooting this affluent family or middle class family? I don't really care. In fact, many affluent families get married in temples where you cannot do any decor or anything. But
Correct.
our job as a wedding photographer is to uh, make them feel, oh, their wedding is so grand and so beautiful, um, wherever it happens. Doesn't matter where it happens.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Absolutely. But again, coming back to that aspect of it, you've obviously moved up. You
Oh,
have
definitely.
built a very,
See,
very successful career now.
yeah.
Studio A is now extremely well known. You are the
Mm.
preferred brand. So you're no longer just a wedding photographer. You're a brand unto yourself. How did you reach there? It's a quintessential question. A lot of young photographers, a lot of aspiring professionals want to know, how you made it, how you reached there. So how how
See,
how did how did it happen?
See, today sitting here, there are several answers that you can say. You can like it could be marketing, it could be going on websites and putting your names out and reaching and talking. But the only way we got here was our work. Uh, so every 6 months, our work took us to the next level, next level, next level, next level. Right? Every 6 months, there will be a wedding which comes and takes us to the next level of flying time. And after 6 months there'll be another clientele. So every wedding we were like we were never saying, okay, this is a middle class wedding, this is a premium wedding. We shot every wedding premium, so premium clients started coming to us. And that's so only the quality, like no, we have not done any, absolutely zero marketing online, um, or any magazine ads. We have never done a magazine ad. We have never done um, um, ads anywhere. Like we have never put a stall anywhere. It's that quality and the service that we provide that has taken to the next level and level and level. So and that is why we build that brand. And our brand is known for that. Like we are very empathetic, we are very friendly, we deliver what we promise. So that is what is taken to this level.
So basically, it's word of mouth publicity. So a customer speaks about you, and then is that how it generally works in your case?
Totally, totally. Not only in my case, everybody's case. It's India. Word of mouth is stronger than anything else. Um, um, you basically have to make your clients champions for your business. Um, See, when I finish a wedding and then come back, when I finish the wedding and I say, okay, I'm leaving now, I say byes and to the parents and all that, they come and say, Amar, you did a wonderful job, right? You guys did an amazing job. But in my mind, I'm like, hey, we haven't even shown you the pictures. We've just shot the wedding. We haven't even shown you the pictures, right? It doesn't matter. But you guys were super friendly, non-intrusive. Working with you was like working with family. You're part of the family, right? So then they become the champions for us, and they talk about us to others. And the only thing that they tell their friends is, hey, no matter what you have to hire, don't worry about the budget.
Hmm.
Don't think of anything else. Just go hire them, right? That only that has brought us here.
So I have two questions now. So one is that you mentioned earlier that you had, every 6 months you pushed yourself to the next level, and then in the next level. So how did that happen? Did you do a sort of a self check, a self review? Did you look at your own work and decide that this is how it's going to be, or was it very organic? Or how did that really happen? Also,
So my
in part, sorry, Amar. So also in
go
part,
ahead,
it's
go
also
ahead,
about
go
the
ahead.
building of your team. Because from the first wedding where you mentioned that you shot yourself, to now you have about 25 people as a part of your team, which is a significant team, and you mentioned that you're like family and that you have each member of the team plays a significant role. So how does that happen? Because was it a step-by-step process? Was it organic? How did that happen?
Oh, it was very, very organic. It was very, very organic. The only thing that we did right was we approached every single wedding as if it was the first wedding for us. And so the first wedding is very, very important for you. Only that wedding is going to give you more weddings. So when we approach every wedding as a first wedding, every wedding is there's something that we have to do fresh. It's something that we have to do, very unique, and that is what gave us the next wedding. That is what gave us the next wedding. That is what gave us the next wedding. So even today, we are in the mindset that we are shooting this first wedding. We need more weddings. So how can we shoot this as if it's the first wedding, right? And also similarly the team. So I just hired one person, and I fell in love with the process of building a team, and I fell in love with how on the first of the month I give an envelope with a salary and put a smile on their face. It was just an amazing feeling. Then I said, okay, I have to do this more. Now, unfortunately, everything goes in bank accounts directly as a direct deposit and all that. But initially, when I started, it was an envelope with cash in it, right? So it was an amazing feeling. So I wanted to do more of that, and and also on the other side, inquiries kept coming. Then it was a decision for me to either uh, give up all the business, or take that and transform lives of people. So every employee I see as a project, right? I'm transforming somebody's life. So if you see every employee in Studio A as a story for themselves, they are going through a personal story, um, and I'm being a part of that story. So it was very, very organic. Every time when we wanted somebody new, we added some.
I can completely, understand the part about the paycheck because I remember my first checks, and in fact, my very first paycheck, I still have it. I haven't cashed it yet, so I still have it. It's just framed there, just kept over there,
So
so
it's strange, if you see people when you reached some place, right? People see that and then say, "How did you plan that?" We didn't plan any of that. We just kept doing what we are doing uh, at the best, and then things kept happening, right? And then when you're doing it with so much of empathy and care and hard work and sincerity, things will fall in place. um, and we also should acknowledge that we were at the right place at the right time, right? One of the biggest reason is we started in 2010, which that's when the entire market opened up. We were a little early, so we had this early adapter advantage. Um, so yeah, that's the thing. Only see, I work on your work is my mantra, right? If you work on your work, if you keep improving your work, definitely all the other things will fall in place. If you have a bad product and market so well, it will fly for some time, but it will not fly for a long time.
right. So basically, the secret is extremely hard work. You mentioned empathy. I think that's a wonderful word because I believe that that's what basically made you a family member with all these families,
Yeah.
and then having the passion for it and letting things grow. So I can see that because that's exactly how better photography also came up. We came up the hard way too, and it was organic, very organic for us as well. All right. What was your toughest? Did you have any situation where you thought it, was completely out of control during a wedding? Did you have a very difficult situation? Did you have an odd one out? For that matter,
You mean challenging situations?
a very challenging situation where you thought that things were going out of your control. Did you
Uh,
happen to have an incident like that?
See, if you take wedding photography, if you take weddings, right? Weddings is an event where everything goes out of control, right? Like this, you have the world's best planner with you. Things are going to go out of out of control, right? as a wedding photographer, you have to be there as, in fact, so many times I'm a traffic constable there. I'm a constable managing things, right? Like bringing back control of things, right? So if you're signing up to become a wedding photographer, you're basically saying, hey, I'll be this guy who brings back order, at least tries to bring back the order in this chaos, right? So that's the job of a wedding photographer. So there's like every wedding goes out of plan, out of things. Lot of people forget their pants. uh, you know People forget things. I have been in so many weddings where the groom forgot his pant. Like sometimes they have to go go back. Sometimes they have to, you know, um, take somebody else's and wear it. So many things have happened. So many things have happened. There was one wedding where the reception was supposed to start at 6 o'clock, and we were there by 5, and till 9 o'clock nothing was happening, and then 10 o'clock somebody walks in, and we asked him, where's the groom? They said he has gone for shopping. Really, what? What? Yeah, yeah. He's getting his shoes. He forgot his shoes, so he's getting his shoes. So and then the reception started almost like 10:30 or 11 o'clock in the night, and then it went on till like 3. So weddings are a place where things go out of control, because it's nobody can be blamed for that. Because the system itself is like that. Because the day itself is like that. Because there are so many things that are coming together. So, as a wedding photographer, you have to be present there and, in fact, help the clients calm down, bring them to the present, make them, hey, understand it's okay, enjoy this moment. It's okay. This is an important moment in your life. Forget about all the other things. Forget about your kajal. Forget about your like bindi. Forget about the small things. In fact, I'll make sure that doesn't come in your picture at all. Um, that imperfectness doesn't come in your picture at all. I'll make sure of that. So don't worry about it. Don't put it in your mind. Just enjoy the moment. All you have to be thinking about is, you should be thinking about her, and she should be thinking about you. That's it.
Very nicely answered. Thank you, Ramesh.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have your in your especially in your all the photographs that are there on your website. You can see so many different styles of photography. There is the very beautiful portraiture. There are the conceptual photos. There is the dramatic photos. There are the action photos. Where those moments have been captured perfectly. There are those nuances. Okay, there is posed, there is unposed, there is where you have juxtaposed elements in your photos. There's the staged and there's the unstaged. So what, for you, on a personal level, as a photographer, what would be the most important elements of wedding photography for you? And what defines your particular form or your thoughts on photography? How does it work for you?
Um, See, what is the central theme, right? See, first of all, I'm a very curious guy. I want to try out a lot of things. I'm not happy just trying one thing. I want to dabble into so many things. So I always have this inquisitive feeling, right? I want to do this. I want to do that. I want to try this. I want to try that. And uh, and also I'm inspired with so many things. So if you talk about the central core element, right? It is I think happiness, because I like that. I want everyone to be happy. I am that happy person, right? So I can't, in fact, shoot a sad moment. It is very tough for me, and I always feel envy of people who show the sad moment so beautifully. I cannot do that. For me, it is happiness. Everything that um, also, if something makes me happy, I want to shoot that. And also in my photography, right, I want to show happiness, I want to show brightness, I want to show colors. um, so that's I think, there's no like, stage, on stage, action, all that is like technical things, right? Like, but for me, it's happiness. Either it should make me happy personally, or it should be an happy moment.
Okay. But I've
So I
also
think
noticed a lot
happiness
of
is the,
conceptual. Please, please,
yeah.
please, go on,
So
go on, Amar.
uh, uh, no. So I was just saying. So happiness is a core element of my work.
A lot of your pictures are very conceptual in nature, that I've noticed. I mean, in fact, some of them are incredibly, you actually think about, hey, nobody else has thought about this, and
Yeah, yeah,
I think the leading photo that is there on your website now, when I opened your website, the first photo that popped up was of the bride on an aircraft, the wing of an aircraft.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And it was one of those, relics. It was brilliant. So how did you think about it? How do you come across? Is it something that you work with your client, or does it pop in your mind and this
So
is the thing that you have to do?
So it's several things. It's a mixture of inspirations. It's a mixture of inventiveness. It's a mixture of perception. It's a mixture of your personal vision. It's a mixture of a whole lot of things, Marvin. So I get inspired by so many artisans, people who do statues. I get super inspired by temples. I love temples in Tamil Nadu, and so there are whole lot of things that I get inspired from. So, and also this one inane characteristic that somehow I developed uh, um, is that asking what if, right? What if I do this? Right? Every time you're trying something new, every time you're trying some concept, just asking a what if. Right? What if I do this? What if I do that? Right? That results in so many different uh, combinations and things like that. So that is basically this curiosity, right? Like just asking yourself, what if I do this? And then I get there. So many pictures I can say. Hey, I finish my shoot, and then finally I was like, hey, maybe what if I do this? And then that becomes the best picture of the shoot. So
But
by
there's a lot of
simply
planning
asking that what if,
involved.
yeah, go ahead.
There's a lot of planning involved, right? I mean, for instance, I'm just thinking of that again, that photograph of the aircraft with the bride standing on the wing. There's a ladder, there's a team, there's an entire, so obviously, this has to be discussed with the family, this has to be discussed with the bride. Everything has to be pre-planned and pre-organized and pre-arranged, so it must be a lot of work getting into a conceptual zone like that.
No, no. We're just complicating things by saying all this. Like I don't carry a ladder. I don't have more than one assistant. Like, and many of the shots, like now I'm in a position where I can take assistants with me to international places. Right now, I like 5 years or 6 years before I was not in a position where I can take another team member because the client has to pay for the team member. Right now, I'm in a position where I can say, hey, I need somebody to help me. Um, so honestly speaking, there's not a whole lot of there's this mindset of okay, let's go and try. It will come. Like we will make it happen, right? And also like I said, asking that question, hey, what if a high school student stands here with the same camera and with the same light? What will you do it? I should not do that. I should do something very different. So asking that question, and then I just do a basic research of what are the places that I have to go, and then I talk to my stylist. I have a very good stylist who does the costume for me. So I talk to her and tell her, hey, this is the color I want because this is the place I'm going, and I want some extra fabric and all that. Do it, right? She comes up with something amazing, and then I take the costume and then we go there, and then even like that's the thing, right? As a photographer, you cannot plan so many things because once you go there, so many things come into place. There is weather, there is people, there is time of the day, there are clouds, not no clouds. Um, you know, sometimes there's security, there is policemen coming and giving you issues, there is watchmen coming and giving you issues. Like there are so many things that could happen, but in your mind, if you're telling yourself whatever happens, right? I'm going home with an amazing shot today. That mindset alone is what you're seeing there. That alone is creating those things, right? Whatever you plan, you're not going to get there, and it's not like a movie shooting where you have so much of budget and then you plan your script and you have a mood board and and you go there and execute that, right? It cannot happen like that in photography.
Right. Wonderful. I think that one thing that you said made a lot of sense to me. If you really, really want to come away with a fantastic image, you will, because
Yes.
it's like then everything conspires for you to get that image. Otherwise,
Yeah. Yeah.
if you are willing to accept that there could be a chance that you will not come out with a good image, even that is bound to happen, because then that's Murphy's law. It is bound to happen that way. If you just want a great image and you know that you're going to get a great image, that also happens.
Yeah.
So one of the things that that I wanted to ask you about is you being a Sony artisan. So now you're a Sony artisan. You work with Sony very closely. What are the advantages that you felt that Sony got you over, let's say, some of the other camera brands?
So I've been a Sony artisan for 6 years now. I think it's 5 years, 6 years now, I think. So one of the
Right, for a very long
main,
time. That's right.
main reason for me to move to Sony is the weight, right? Initially, they were the least weighing cameras, um, and also it was a new technology, so I wanted to jump into this new technology. So that was the reason I moved, and I'm like extremely happy that I did. Things fell in place, and Sony is doing really well now. Um, so I'm happy about it. So weight was the reason for me, because for like as a wedding photographer, I'm carrying two cameras for 8 9 hours a day, and doing it multiple days at a time, right? And so if you have a you know uh, quality mind and quality health, right? Without painless body, you can do amazing work. When you are in pain and when your mind is like thinking about the pain, you cannot do work. So for me, it is very important. My gear should be like very lightweight, and that's why I don't put my flashes on the camera. I always have a off camera flash. I don't want to carry more weight because after 6 or 7 hours, I don't want to be in pain. I want to
Right,
my I want to be normal, and I want my mind to be fresh.
right, right. One of the things that I wanted to ask you is about the kind of lenses that are your personal favorites, because you can say a lot about a photographer from the kind of lenses that they use. So, what kind of lenses do you have in your camera bag when you're shooting personally?
I don't have a personal lens really. I'll tell you why. Um, and people ask this question so many times. What is your favorite lens? What is the best lens for a wedding photographer and all that, right? See, the 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 biggest thing that you have to do is whatever lens you're given, you should be in a position to do some amazing things with the lens, right? And I'm not saying this just for the fact that I'm here and I'm doing some amazing work and all that, but really, I've shot in so many lenses, and and see, I don't go in that route. I don't say, okay, this is the best lens, I'm going to use this lens to shoot a picture. What is the picture I see, right? What is the picture I see in my mind? To execute that picture, what is the lens I need, right? Then I go pick up the lens. And also being with a team of so many photographers, sometimes they open my bag and take the lens, and they go off for shoots. And sometimes I'm ended up with, like, sometimes I don't even know what is the lens I'm carrying, right? But I know for sure, okay, whatever it is, I'm going to play with it. And the best thing about Sony is there is a APS-C mode, right? Where it's almost carrying two lenses. So I use that APS-C mode so many times, and if I'm carrying a 35, I also my 50 is also covered. If I'm carrying 85, my 105 is also covered. So it's like I'm having two lenses at a time. So I really don't have a favorite lens that I think. See, in this period of time, my mind thinks so many things in wide angle. So now the the go-to lens for me will be a wide angle. But 3 years ago or 4 years ago, my thing was all 85. So my favorite lens was 85. So
85.
it's not my favorite lens I pick up and go shoot. It is what are the type of shots I want to shoot, and what is the lens that is needed for
Corresponds
those
to
type
that.
of.
Right. There is a question that came through. I actually pinned it. It is do you use, it's by Ratul Devanath. Do you use any kind of picture profile with the A7 Mark III for your photography?
Um, I always no, I don't use any picture profile. My picture profile is off, or
Okay,
it's
so
PP1. Sometimes it's PP1. Most of the times it's off.
okay, so the thing is that so you entirely use a raw workflow with
Yes, because I use a raw workflow, this doesn't matter. So I always use a raw. Like I never shoot in JPEG. As soon as I buy a new camera, the first thing that I do is change it to JPEG, change it to raw, and then I never go back to JPEG at all.
okay. Um, what are some of the techniques that you use for managing a large wedding? So do you pre-plan? Is there a meeting with the team? Is there a meeting with the family? What are some of those things that you do with a large wedding?
Um, See, weddings large or small doesn't really impact your way of handling the client or your way of approaching the wedding itself. Because when so many people, even clients, think that when there is a large wedding, then like exponentially lot more work. It's not exponentially lot more work. It's just one or two extra people, right? Because we're not covering everyone. We are covering the main people, and everybody gets covered in that guest pictures, right? Like they stand in line, pose for the shot. But our job is covering the main things, events, the rituals, the moments, and all that, which happens for a group of 50 to 80 people. All the others are basically giving attendance to the wedding, and then there is attendance shot. So there is nothing that we specifically plan for big wedding or small wedding. But what we do is for every wedding, we plan this. We sit with the couple, we talk to them, we make them understand our style, we make them show them some of our pictures, we tell them what are the things that we do, what are the things we don't do, right? So this reduces a lot of confusion on the wedding day. So another thing is this meeting is very very important because we also become their friends in that meeting. And then as soon as the meeting is over, we are on constantly in touch with them, talking about random things. So now, by the time we go shoot the wedding, we have already developed a rapport with them. So they are not looking at us as strangers. We are like friends shooting the wedding. So that is the biggest plan we do.
Okay, thank you for that. Okay, one last question because we have got exactly something like 5 7 minutes left. So obviously now the future of the COVID-19 situation is upon us. We're all locked down. The future seems bleak. It may be some time before a vaccine is out. There may be a situation where weddings may not really be the same for the next 2 or 3 years, even, where gatherings might be very small or very controlled. What do you see as the future in wedding photography? What do you see as the future? What's coming up in wedding photography?
Hey, if anybody could have predicted the future, I would ask them, how did you not predict this big thing that was coming, right? How did you miss this, man? How did you miss this?
Right.
So I would say nobody can predict what's going to happen. We don't know if we are going to be stuck at home for the next 15 days or next 15 months. We don't know that. Like it's something that mankind has never seen. We have never seen um in our lives, and I don't know if I like God willing, nothing should happen like this in the future. Um,
Right.
so, I'm not predicting anything. In fact, I'm taking it one day at a time. I'm just saying, okay, let's take this day. Let's do something amazing today. Let's make today better than yesterday, right? And I'm approaching it day by day. I'm not thinking like because if you think about what's going to happen, am I going to have weddings? Am I going to have clients and all that? It's unnecessary stress, right? And stress for something we don't have control over. Stress for something that we don't know what's going to happen. So So I'm not thinking about all that. I'm just saying, okay, today let's make it 1% better than yesterday. Tomorrow let's make it 1% better than today, right? So that's all I'm saying.
Good answer, Amar. Thank you. Thank you
Yeah.
so much. And Devnath, if you've heard that last answer, well, that actually answers your question too, because he had asked a question saying that any suggestions for practicing photography at home. Well, the answer is to that is, well, one step at a time. This is a great time to learn photography. Like there are talks like these happening. There are many other talks happening. Please attend some of these talks. It's a great time for learning. I think
It's
it's a
a
wonderful time for learning.
yeah, it's a great time to make yourself better in every aspect, right? Make your health better, make your knowledge better, make yourself better, become a better person during this time. So yeah, that's how I'm using this time because I don't want to think about what's gonna happen and how are things gonna be, and I don't know. Really don't.
Well, Amar, thank you for being with us on this live. It was a wonderful session, and I hope we can do this again soon. We should definitely keep in touch and,
Sure.
exchange notes.
Yeah.
It's been a wonderful set of answers that you have given us,
Thanks.
and thank you so very much for being with us. To all
Hey,
the viewers out there, please stay safe, stay at home, stay committed to defeating this virus, and be very compassionate to each other. Um, Thank you so much, Amma.
thanks a lot. Bye, guys.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Hey, say this in the story, Madhav.
Yeah, I will, for sure.